here we go, you guys. Let's go ahead and share this really quick. So on my Facebook, so you guys know I'm on. Go ahead and just let me know that you're on by giving me a thumbs up or, just saying hello in the comment box. Okay. All right, we got our first person on. So today I'm going to be talking about transmuting energy through our relationships, whether they're friendships, whether they're romantic. I probably won't go into those too much today. However, through friends. Friends are what we consider friends or acquaintances, okay? But pretty much in my thing where I let you guys know what I was going to be talking about, I'm going to be giving you very personal experiences as to the types of friends that have come in and out of my life that I do consider friends, because at some point they cross that threshold from being just an acquaintance to somebody I knew in the street to someone I shared interests with, to like the friendship developed, right? From being strangers to being a really good friend, traveling with them, things like that. So I'm going to be giving very, very personal experiences. It's interesting because I did let some of you guys know, some of my friends out there know that I would be talking or referring to our friendship in this video. And some of you got concerned. Guilty conscience? No. I guess because a lot of you know that I don't have a filter when it comes to just me being me. And I want to teach through my experiences. So I don't want any of you that I might be talking about today, to take anything personal. Know that all of these relationships that I was in, these friendships that I was in, or what I thought was a friendship at the time, taught me a lot. So we're going to go with that and stick with the positive on that end, okay? So, so the beautiful thing is that when we've gone through some major shifts or changes, all of a sudden, have you guys noticed that your friendships tend to change, or the people you hang around tend to shift? As far as I can go back, there is a solid core group of girls that I hang out with that some of you may have known from high school. But even further before high school, there's another friend that I have who's now my sister. I mean, we call each other sisters. Schwanby, a lot of you may know her or not. But then there's that friend that I've had since I was 7, 8 years old. And that is one of the closest relationships that I have, even though we may not speak every day. However, the thing I want to teach you guys today is, how do you transmute the energy in these friendships that have all of a sudden left you, or you guys had a falling out or had a big blow up? Because I didn't realize that I was running a pattern. A lot of times we run patterns unconsciously, so we keep bringing back in the similar situations, the same situations back over and over into our life, because we don't deal with the pain, or we're not good at living in the present moment. And we automatically go back into that Rolodex of memories. Wait a minute, this has happened to me before, but we're not good at, this happened to me before, but I probably shouldn't react the same way I did before, because these were the consequences. I reacted this way and these were the consequences. Like, your Rolodex of memories, you guys, doesn't keep you in the present. So a lot of the times when the new person is coming in, that you've pulled in this new person or this new friendship, they're here to show you those dark, shadowy places of yourself that you had yet to heal from the relationship before, from the friendship before. So, are you guys ready for my story? I have a few of them. So one of the things that I noticed in my relationships with my girlfriends is that for some reason or another, a lot of them always thought I was going to take their man, or I took their man, or I was going to do something of that nature. And I started noticing this pattern that I would lose friends over men or guys or boys or whatever you guys want to call them. And I started going back in all of my girl relationships that I've fought over, or not even fought over, because I'm not the type to fight over a guy. Like, here, you can have him, I don't want him, whatever. Okay. And I went back to junior high. all the way back to junior high, where this girl wanted to beat my ass because her boyfriend looked at me a certain way. And I didn't understand if her and I were what I considered friends. We hung out, we ditched together, we did all these things. And then the next thing you know, she has all her girlfriends wanting to fight me because her boyfriend liked me or said a comment about me. And I have no idea who this guy is. Anyhow, it went back all the way to junior high. And if I probably dig into my memories more, I could probably go back to even maybe elementary, because, you know, I liked little boyfriends and stuff. You know, the hand holding. Anywho, I go into this wanting to pay attention to these relationships. So that happened once in junior high. I get to high school and it happens more times than none. As I start growing up, there's this core group of girlfriends that I have: Cecilia, Yeri, and Christina. Okay. It was a few more of us during high school, but these are the four. Us four have stayed friends for over 20 years now. And it's those group of friends that I can tell anything to, that I can be who I am and they accept me. It might look at me a little weird because they've seen me through my phases, but they respect who I am and they honor it. Boom. That's how you know that you have a friend around, okay? Anywho, during this whole transition from high school into growing up into the women we are now, I noticed that with my friend Cecilia, there was a misunderstanding at some point where her ex-boyfriend gave me a ride to the laundromat. And from this ride, all of a sudden, something else is happening and her mind trick created, whatnot, this, that, and the other, but nothing ever happened. And I was like, and I lost a friend over it. I missed her pregnancy. A lot of you guys might not know about this situation, but I'm airing it out, and that's why I had to let them know I'd be talking about them. But this is one of those things where I was just like, I can't believe that I lost a friend over some guy I don't even talk to. She don't even talk to. I mean, at some point or another, all that got rearranged, fixed, and she came back in. We were friends again, and everything started working accordingly. And I just thought, okay, that was interesting, but I had to set my pride aside because I missed her, I loved her, and I still love her, and I'm so glad we're still friends. But I had to keep going and paying attention to what other relationships had been like that in my life. So you fast forward, and I get to high school, and it's very interesting because a lot of we share a particular person in common, but it's never been awkward or anything because we each had him at a different point in our life. One of us dated him in junior high, one of us dated him in high school, or some of us dated him in high school, but we didn't know each other at the time. So that person is that person, okay? But we never held it against each other. Oh, I kissed him. No, I kissed him too, or I didn't kiss him, or whatever happened. Move this along. I started noticing a pattern that I keep losing friends over men. After I got married, I had a core group of girlfriends. There were girlfriends that I worked with through slumber parties at the time. And when I noticed that when I got a divorce, everybody kind of just picked and chose their way. And I was like, oh man, he got some of my friends in the divorce. But it wasn't that. It's because I still had things from previous experience that I hadn't healed. So that happens. Luckily, these women are still a part of my life, you know, at least the ones that are worth it. And I move on. And that marriage, going to another 4-year relationship. And I have these set of girlfriends who I did everything with. I went to lunch with them. We went out, we went together, like everything. And all of a sudden, I start dating someone, and me knowing who I am in my relationships, I'm very loyal and I just want to spend time with them. And I was probably very toxic at the time because we don't realize that the way they showed us how a relationship is very toxic. Anyhow, I lose these friends over this guy. They just stop talking to me. And when I want to go out to lunch, they don't want to go out to lunch. When I want to do things, they don't want to do things. And so I was like, all right, fine. And all of a sudden they came back around years later. This I'm talking about years later, but I'll get to that in a minute. I fast forward to the next relationship or to my next major cataclysm, right? And all of you know that my cousin Maria, or Nana, as you most know her, I have a girlfriend, and 2 other girlfriends. We would go and we would travel and we would do all these things. And when I had my blowout with my cataclysm, I lost them as friends. Why? Because I felt misunderstood. I felt all these bunch of different weird and crazy emotions. I just felt like they didn't understand what I was going through. And so these are those friends that, again, they come into your life to kind of just represent where you're at. I wanted to do things, they didn't want to do things. And then the next thing they were out and watching this concert that I had just asked to go to. So I started noticing that I had lost friends because of men. And then there was another situation that I'm not going to get into, but also I lost another friend because I stuck my nose where it shouldn't have been, but I saw loyalty in the person that asked me straight up, is this happening? Anywho, I lost that person as a friend. And all over men, okay? These are all over men in my opinion. Fast forward, I know, go over my cataclysm, and I meet a girl named Audrey. A lot of you girls met him or met her. She had the tattoos, very beautiful. And I thought I was gonna be friends with this girl forever because we just clicked. I saw her growth. We started traveling together, all of these things. And then all of a sudden, between 1 week and another, blocked. Her mom wouldn't call me, her brother blocked me. The dad, like everything, blocked on all levels. So I really didn't understand what happened there. But this is that one relationship that I realized, oh my gosh, what is going on here? Why am I losing friends? And it all happens about the same time, after my birthday, all the way through January, February, okay? So it's a pattern that I started noticing. And then after her, in that same summer, you can say, I lost another friend, Jackie, okay? Yes, I am calling out names, you guys, and again, this is not for you guys to take it personal if you see this later. This is me sharing my experience because some of you may learn something out of this and get just start to notice things, okay? Anyways, I was part of this dance team at Moderno. A lot of you guys know that. And I thought these girls were my friends. I really did. Oh, we had such good times together and all this, and we would dance and we would help each other and all these things. And me and Jackie had a falling out. Again, because of a man, because of a guy. I looked at it one way, everyone was single. She had her weekend, I have mine, no big deal, nobody owns anyone. But that's not how she took it. But then again, I never found out what the interpretation or why she was so mad. Why. Now I had to understand also that she is a very possessive person, a very jealous person, but she was working on all those things just like I had to. Because if anything, y'all know I was so possessive and so jealous and so just, don't look at my man, don't look at his way. Like I was one of those toxicas, or the toxic thing that a lot of you guys have going on. Anywho, I lost a friend over that, and she's another one I miss so much. But here's the thing, you guys, is that out of all these relationships and all these friendships, I noticed that pattern. And I had to do something. I had to do something with the energy. I said, I can't keep losing friends over guys because of what I'm doing or because of what's happening here. What is it in me that I keep pulling all of these people into my life to show me these patterns and these patterns and these patterns and these patterns and these patterns? So then I realized that this isn't just a pattern that I shared. It's a pattern that I noticed that my mom doesn't have a lot of girlfriends. And because she was very possessive and very over my dad all the time. So I learned this from somewhere. So you guys all learned your relationship patterns from somewhere, why they work, why they don't work. So I want you to pay attention to the people that come into your lives are silently rooting for you. And the ones that exit out of your life, they're also silently rooting for you. These people come in to show you those parts of yourself that you have yet to heal so you can move forward. So the next time you guys have a blowout with a friend, I want you to just be in that moment. Stop comparing it. Stop getting your Rolodex of memories out, even though they help, just like they help me to figure out my relationship patterns. Be in the moment. Stay present with the moment. And most of all, you guys, a lot of us don't listen to comprehend. We listen to reply, or we listen to just say something back. Friends do have levels. Everybody starts as strangers. Then all of a sudden you find out you have a commonality. Now, I'm not going to not admit that what I did or what I have done in those previous relationships may have been shitty, as in talking smack behind the person's back, where, I mean, we're still growing as people. But I will tell you this, that all of these relationships, all of the people that I've mentioned that I'm no longer friends with, or they still hold a very special place in my heart, and I wish them the best. So when I do find out that they did something, or I see them on somebody else's Instagram, I'm rooting for them. I really am. However, or in addition to, there's always that thinking of what is it that I did, or what could I have done different? Well, the could haves and would haves don't exist. So what I started to do is, in the friendships that I developed now, is I left or let go of, or actually started realizing when these old Rolodex memories of what's happened in the past with people start to chime in. I'm like, hold on, I don't need this to happen again. And I'm going to ask for a sign that I've broken this pattern, or somehow allowed myself these old patterns to come back in and to see them for what they were. I hadn't healed from this relationship, so I acted this way in this relationship. I hadn't healed that from this relationship, so this person showed up to show me this thing. Now, in all that, you have to be very, very mature in knowing that you also have your part. And you also have your reaction. This is why I say that we need to get a grip on our emotions and stop reacting because of the committee that came in through the back of our minds that says, hey, remember when this happened with this person, and this person? This is what's going to happen now. And you got to stop it. It's like, all right, I got you, but I'm going to live in this present moment right now and see what happens if I react differently from that last time. So it's going to take effort on your behalf to pay attention to what emotional reactions you're repeating, okay? Now, I'm not saying all of these people that came into your life were just acquaintances, no. But I think we do use the word friends and best friends very loosely. So we got to pay attention to what it is that we consider our friendships, okay? Because like I said, with my sister Shwandi, I can pick up the phone later and I can tell her everything I've gone through in the last year, and it's like nothing happened. Like, we were friends the whole time, we spoke every day, and you're going to have those friends that you don't speak to every day. Or you're going to have those friends that come to you in that moment of life because you have something to share with them or teach them, or you're going through the same thing. And then once you're over that thing, then a new set of friends comes in. And I've noticed as I've gotten older, these waves of different friendships that have come in and come through. I just do ask you that you stop maybe using the word friends so loosely. You know of them, it's somebody I dance with, it's somebody that I share a commonality. Oh, I met them over coffee once or twice, don't know too much about them. So you want to pay attention to how it is that you're saying and what you're saying to each of these. Now, how do you do this? Go through your list of friends, write everybody down that you can think of that are friends or that you consider a friend, okay? And then I want you to play this scenario in your mind. If you had, you were stranded on the side of the road and you didn't have AAA and you didn't know, or you ran out of the spare tire, whatever the case, you're just stranded on the road. I want you to go down that list of friends to see how many of those you could rely on to say, hey, I'm in need. Hey, come get me. It's the first part. Do different situations. Maybe one is money. Maybe some of you don't trust your friends with your money. I know that if I've ever lent you money, I trust you and you're probably a friend. Or at some point I've considered you a friend. So after you're done with that, then I want you to flip it. If they were in the same scenario and they're on your list, would you be on their list? And if you're not, it tells you more so how they may value your friendship versus how you value their friendship. Now, this is something I've always said. In friendships, there is something that we're doing for each other. There's something that we are giving each other, or we can provide for one another. Now, I've had a lot of people who think they're my friends, where I know clearly this isn't a friendship. This is more so the information I can provide is going to help them, assist them, whatever. I know those people too. And this is also why I'm so very, I don't know that I would consider them a friend, but they're definitely an acquaintance. I know of them. So you have your different levels of friendships, right? But I want you to pay attention how many people are on your list. And when you flip the situation, how many people are you on their list? Okay, different situation. We can use, when you're sick or when you need, you just had a surgery. I want you to acknowledge that you have different friends on different levels. It's another thing I want you guys to acknowledge. But how do you take that energy and you transmute it? You just have to be very, very aware and familiar with where you have every person placed on your list of priority, you can say. Because I can tell you this, when somebody is getting something that they provide, okay, well, I'll just use me as an example. A lot of people come to me, I give advice because clearly a lot of it is channeled in our reading, right? But I've always been that natural counselor where people know that I'm going to give them sound advice because I believe everybody should be happy and have a fair chance at everything, right? So hey, you have for lunch, you have for this, because there's a certain benefit that I give to them, okay? The minute that I no longer give them that benefit, I've seen people go, because I'll tell them, hey, you know what? I'm tired of talking about the same thing over and over with you. You can pay for a session now. I have done that to some of you. You know who you are. But it's because at a point in time, you have to know how much of your friendship is friendship and how much is people trying to use you for what you can provide. Because we hang around people for the way that they make us feel. And I know that I've come off as a know-it-all, I've come off as arrogant, I've come off as just kind of in an observer position. I know all these things about myself. But even though I assist as much as I can until I can no longer, and I pull in all my energy. So you guys got to pay attention. What is it that friendship provides for you? Are you just friends with them because they give you dance classes and they're a shitty person outside of that? Or are you just friends with them because, you dance with them on the same team, but outside of that, you've told them something and then somebody else has come back around and said, oh, so-and-so said this about you. Because I can guarantee you right now that the people you give your secrets to and you know other people's secrets, I can tell you right now that we will likely, and I say we because I've done this, okay, I will admit my portion and my fault to repeating things I probably shouldn't have, okay? And we've all done this, so we're not perfect. But they will likely go back around and say things about you behind your back. So we just got to pay attention to the level of relationships. Now, one of these I was like, all right, I'm tired of losing friends over men. So I did a letter. I did a letter to friendship. And a lot of you guys know I'm really big on writing and forgiveness and all of that. So I did a letter to friendship, but I also did my relationship patterns. Because you guys have to be aware of the patterns that we run in order to be able to transmute that energy. You have to know what you're working with in order to turn it into that letter, into that gold. So I said, let me pay attention and let me see how much I've changed the dynamic, because my friend Audrey, I remember going to her place of work and I knew she was there, and the girl I was with, I said, yo, I know she's here. She's like, no, she wouldn't be that petty. Why would she hide? And I'm like, I don't know. She has her reasons. We come out. She's in her car. Her eyes get this big. And I respect her space. Because I knew in that moment, I know I haven't respected people's spaces when they've blocked me, yes, I've been blocked, you guys. And I have also done the blocking. Where you want to keep badgering and going because you want an answer, because the answer they gave you wasn't good enough, because you want an answer, you need an answer, you need that closure. Closures of the ego, you guys. So in that moment, could I have gone and been like, yo, what's up? What happened? I've been messaging you, I emailed you, and you nothing. But in that moment, I realized, yo, this is somebody who has had issues with boundaries with other people. And I know I've had issues with boundaries and like stepping over my permitted grounds, you can say. So in that moment, I realized, whoa, old me would have just gone up and been like, yo, what's up? Why are you doing this to me? But then I realized, and I'm like, no, this is probably my lesson here to respect somebody else's boundaries when they say, I don't want any part in your life anymore. So I stood there and I said, all right, this is what I'm going to do right now. Because old me would have gone right up to the car. So I look at it as, no, this is a learning experience. This person is trying to teach me something, or which is that their boundary is respected. And it's probably, she was never used to that. Maybe, maybe not. Now she's probably really good at it because I haven't messaged her since. But I miss her. And I wish her only the best when I do hear about her. So how did I transmute that energy? I paid attention to what was happening in that moment. And for as much as my ego wanted to go and scream and yell and be like, what the hell is your problem? I sat there and I was just like, no, I'm not going to chase after someone who no longer wants to be with me. No longer wants to be with me in my life. And that was it. And I moved on. This happened again with, sorry, anywho, I noticed that some of these girls that I had lost back when I was in that 4-year relationship came back around, both of them. And I was like, oh, I think I transmuted something. I think I cleared something or realized this pattern I was running. Because the minute sometimes you guys realize a pattern it's running, you won't run it again because you'll be able to recognize it the next time it comes around. And that's something that also happened with me. So I said, you know what? This is about the same time I lost Audrey, I lost Jackie, I lost all these things in my life. Show me that I've cleared this pattern. Like, just show me that I am done with losing friends over men. And I said, and make it so clear that I can't even miss it. Anyway, I will go to a dance festival in Orlando. And in Orlando, I'm rooming with 4 strangers. I've never met them. And in one of I made a connection there with one of the girls in the room. And her and I just hit it off. And the next thing you know, we're talking about the same man, same guy, same person. Yes, in Florida. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. We're sitting here talking about the same guy, and we didn't even know it. Anywho, what probably would have happened in my relationships before was, all right, we're done. This can't be. This is, that's messed up, or let's set him up, or whatever. And she was like, you know what? You had your time with him. I had my time with him. We're grown-ass women. Let's move on. I'm in love over here. You're still trying to figure things out. Let's move on. Okay, cool. So we moved on from that moment. Now, let me tell you how I know that this was a sign that I had broken a pattern. Because the guy that we had in common was the same guy that I had a falling out with the friend out here in Vegas. Same guy. In Florida, though. Anywho, those are the types of things that when you ask for signs, they will show up. And they will be so clear as day that it's like, okay, I got it. I'm not going to lose friends over this anymore. And then the energies come around and test you again. They will come around and test you. Now, people come in for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. We just have to be willing to let these people go when they no longer want to be a part of your life. Ego is it's a mother. It wants to be right. It wants to make you wrong or the other person wrong. And is never just content with the information that we're getting. We want to keep digging. We want to keep digging. We want to keep seeing what else is possible. Okay. So I asked for that sign, and me and I, the girl that I made the connection with, were still cool. We're not like super friends, but she was the one that the energies put into line, God put into my life to make me realize here's somebody who said, you know what? I get it. You had your time. I had my time. Let's move on. Okay. Now, You have to be aware of your pattern, write it out, pay attention, and react in that moment. In that moment is when you need to react, but not react like you did from your Rolodex of memories. Does that make sense? Do any of you have any questions? Now, certain people are going to come in our life to guide us, to meet a specific person, and then they leave. To guide us, like Audrey. Audrey brought me into my first ayahuasca ceremony. I will never forget that, and I will always be grateful for her because she brought me into that first psychedelic experience where I just got all kinds of answers. So there are certain memories that I will keep very alive and very in my heart with all of these people, even with Jackie, man. Sometimes I'll be at the club, I'm like, I wish she was here. And I know she's a phone call away, but there's another person where I'm just like, it's cool. If we're friends, if we're not, cool. But we move on and we move forward. So I'm hoping you guys got something out of this. The process is figure out your relationship patterns, write it down. All your friends, call them if they're in need. If they're, see how many else show up from all of the list of people that you wrote, see how many show up on your list, and then flip it. Would they be able to call you? And you'll see that your list is going to get a lot shorter on that second round. And as your situations change, that will also change. So be very okay with calling people your acquaintance. Not everybody is your friend. You learn that throughout life. You learn that as you go. But transmit the energy. React in that moment. See what it is there, because they're a teacher always, always, always. And it's okay to let go of friendships that were just for the moment. All right, you guys, I'm hoping you guys learned something. I'm gonna go ahead and get off because I do have something else to do later. So I will talk to you guys soon. Take care and let me know what you thought. Bye.